Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for this week's webcast. I hope everyone had a happy and safe New Year's. Personally, I went to Napa for the holidays with some friends, and aside from maybe drinking a little too much wine, it was a great time. Napa is a little like Vegas though. A few days is good. Anything longer than that, it's probably time to go home. Last week prior to Napa though, I was on CNBC Squawk Box talking about how the markets have probably gotten a little ahead of themselves. This looks a lot like what took place last January. And for those who don't remember, the year started off with the markets down the first few days of the year, which became the news story, which drove the markets down further. Next thing we knew, the markets were down double digits, and this had nothing to do with corporate balance sheets, but instead on emotions. After the presidential election, the markets were up, which became the news story, which drove the markets up further. Next thing you know, the markets are up double digits, and again, not because companies are suddenly making more money, but because the emotion of the story is driving it. We here at IHT try to take as much of the emotion of investing out of the game. In fact, we typically look at these emotional moves as opportunities to take advantage of. Last year, we were on CNBC in January yelling from the rooftops that the math of $25 oil didn't make sense. This wasn't a popular opinion at the time, and if I remember correctly, I caught a fair amount of grief from host Kelly Evans. Since that day, though, oil's up nearly 100%, and energy has been the top sector to be in. The point is, when the math looks funny to you, take advantage of it. You won't always be right, but often you will. This week's question is, what is the single best thing I can do financially going into 2017? And I know that's a pretty vague question, but here's what I think they were looking for. I would ask you to figure out what is the single most important thing that you would like resolved. We all have that one thing. If you're working, are you saving enough to retire one day? If you own a business, what price do you need to eventually walk away? If you're retired, am I doing the right things not only for your lifetime, but for your heirs, whether that's family or charities or what have you? Every year people say they're going to do things for their financial future, and then every year people get sidetracked with their normal day-to-day routines. Next thing you know, years gone by, and you still have the same questions. So to answer the question, write down what you want your financial plan to look like, and then ask yourself, are you doing it? And if you're not, call us, and we'll help. Thanks again for checking out this week's webcast, and as we continue to post these videos every Friday, we will look for your questions that you post on our social media sites. You can tag at IHT Wealth with your questions in the comments field. Make sure to check back next week for some more answers, and don't forget, these videos are also available on our website, ihtwealthmanagement.com. See you next week.